The moment your gut says no, it's a no. You can unpack the details later. That was a really powerful quote I saw on Stephen Bartlett's page recently, and I've been musing on it for a number of weeks now. It fascinates me because it really goes to some important questions that we often all struggle with, like what is my gut instinct, what is my intuition, and questions around your authentic self. And obviously knowing who you are and how you really feel is vital to making aligned decisions in life, whether being in the right career, in the right relationship, and also noticing dislocations at key moments of disconnect in those areas, whether it's, oh, I feel sick at work, why is that? All those sort of red flag moments potentially in relationships that you might minimize or not notice because you're not sufficiently connected to your gut. So here are a few quick ways that we can connect better to our intuition and gut. If your body could speak, what would it say? If your stress could speak, what would it say? So imagine your stress is like a little person and you handed it a microphone in moments of stress. What would it say? If you couldn't be judged, what would you say? What are you scared to say or to acknowledge? If you were writing in a journal, what would you write? Because often, think about your 7-year-old self writing in your little diary with that little padlock on it, probably all the girls amongst us. It's always the truth, really. When we write in a journal, it's private, it's confidential, no one else can see it. And that's the power of journaling. You review what you've written, say, two weeks, a year later. And if you're anything like me, I'll be quite surprised by what I've written. Perhaps I'll have a fresh perspective on myself. Gosh, I clearly felt really anxious. I hadn't really realized in the moment because I wasn't sufficiently connecting with my gut or my feelings. Another way to assess whether you're truly aligned with your gut instinct is to notice any gap between your inner monologue, what you're thinking, and your outer monologue, what you're saying out loud. If you're quite aligned with yourself and being your most authentic self, usually there isn't really a gap or much of a gap between the inner and the outer. Obviously, you don't say everything. Like, let's say your boss walks in and does something annoying. You're not going to be like, God, you annoy the hell out of me. But, you know, in healthy relationships, for example, even in healthy work situations, you know, you should be able to express concerns, for example, that you're thinking externally to assess whether a place is really compatible with you and whether there's real potential for growth there. So if you do notice a big gap between your inner monologue, what you're thinking, and your outer monologue, what you're saying, that can be a sign of self-abandonment or self-betrayal, and, you know, a disconnection from your true self.